beautiful. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Bettina. If you are new around here, welcome. In this video, I'm here to bring you my next update on my Pan That Palette series. So if you want to see how I'm going on panning my face palette, then stay tuned. But before we get into the video, if you are new around here and you haven't already subscribed, make sure you subscribe down below. I do a lot of project panning related content and other beauty related content on this channel. So if that interests you at all, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out. And let's jump on into the update. So in my Pan That palette, I use face palettes, and I currently have two face palettes in this project. So I have the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Edit Sculpture palette, and I also have my Tarte Off the Cuff Blush palette in this project. So in my Hourglass palette, I only have two pans left in this palette. It is one of the highlighters. It's actually the strobe light powder and one of the blushes. And then in this palette, I have five blushes. I have five blushes, technically six because I have frankened two into one of the pans. So that's what I'm working on at the moment. Let's see how I'm going. Now, I kind of have not great progress, but also great progress, if that makes sense. So I realized the other day when I was filming my update for my tea project pan, I have a blush and a bronzer in that project. I realized in that project when I was updating the blush that I'm currently technically panning 8 blushes. So in this update today, I want to give myself permission to not focus on some of the blushes, and I want to actually put it in writing, I guess, by filming it, to give myself permission to just pull back a little bit on some of the blushes in this project. So I am going to identify some blushes in this project today that I am banning myself from using for the next month, if that makes sense. So let's start off with my Hourglass palette. This palette, I was hopeful that I was going to have the strobe light powder finished by this update, but unfortunately that hasn't happened. But I am impressed with the progress that I have made. I don't know if you can see in this corner here, I have pan, and the pan is starting to expand down. So the way I'm going with the strobe light powder, I do believe that I might be finished this one by the next update, which is very exciting because I've been working on this palette for quite a while, and that would mean that there's only one lonely little blush left in this palette. I am working on this blush occasionally, but I don't love this blush. It's not one that I reach for regularly, but if I get to the point where that's the only blush left in this palette, it might motivate me to just reach for this palette a lot just to get the palette finished and out of my collection. So that's kind of my thought process at the moment. I'm very impressed with how much of the strobe light powder I've used, and it is getting quite flat on that other side here, so I don't think there's too much left to go, and I reckon I'll have it finished by the next update. I'm hopeful at least that I'll have it finished by the next update because I've been working on this palette for a while, and I want to see more progress on it, but I am happy with how much progress I am making on it at the moment, considering how much I'm panning at the moment. In terms of weight on this one, so last month it weighed 137.72 grams, and this month it weighs 137.52 grams. So I've used a total of 0.25 grams of product this past month. I'm very happy with that. That again is tracking really quite well. I think I've been pretty consistent with how much progress I'm making on this over the months. So we're getting there. I don't think the blush is going to be finished anytime soon, but I definitely think that strobe light will be finished in the next month, maybe 2, but I really want it to be done by the next update. Moving on into my Tarte blush palette, and as I said, I've been panning 8 different blushes, so there's not much difference on this palette, unfortunately. I will say probably the most progress I've noticed is this one in the middle here, and I don't know whether you can see, you might see it better in the close-ups, but I have a second pan right down the bottom here. There's a little bit of silver starting to peek through, so I think by the next update, this pan on this middle one here will be absolutely huge. So we're getting there and we're making good progress. I think potentially with this middle one, once I do connect that pan to this bigger pan here, I'm going to reshift my focus to the top of the pan on this one moving forward, because I just want it to get really thin, like all the way around, and then I will repress the whole thing back into the center. I have used this one quite a bit. Sometimes I mix these two together. That's what I've actually done today as my blush. I've mixed both of those together, and I have dipped a little bit into this one, but I haven't really been reaching for this palette all that much. I've really been focusing my attention on my Milani Luminoso blush of late. That's been basically my go-to daily blush, has been the Milani Luminoso. I'll occasionally dip into this palette, but not much. So I do now want to really focus my attention on, I think, the Hourglass palette and maybe just one or two from this palette. And then my Milani Luminoso, I feel like I'm getting really close to hitting pan on the Milani Luminoso. So I want to see some real progress on that one. So in saying that, this is my current progress. The weight difference, I have dropped a little bit in weight, which I was actually surprised about. I weighed this the other day and it was like it had gone up in weight. But in saying that, I do believe that I need to get a new set of scales, because the weights on that scale, when I put things on it, it like bounces around. So I think I might try change the batteries first, but even when I take things off the scale, it like bounces up to like 10 grams or 0.1 of a gram. So I think I need to get some new scales. I think they've lost their ability to weigh things. So in terms of the weight, last month it was at 126.29 grams, and now we're sitting at 126.07 grams. So we have used a total of 0.22. I was going to say 3, but it's not 3, it's 0.22 grams of product, which is, again, I'm very happy with that amount of progress, especially considering I am panning so much like complexion related products at the moment. As I said before, I am going to give myself permission to not use some of these blushes. And I think if I put it in writing, in words, in a filmed video, I will kind of hold myself to it. Like I'll actually do what I'm going to say I'm going to do. So I am going to not work on the bright pink blush at all. And I'm also not going to work on the purple blush at all. And I think maybe this bottom one here, I will give myself permission to not work on that one either. So I'm going to allow myself to use this one, and this one. So that means I have, that's still 6 blushes. That's still a lot of blush. Maybe I might say not to touch this one either, because I feel like this one, Milani Luminoso and the Hourglass blush, all look quite similar to each other. So I might just say this one and the top one here. That's only 4 blushes now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think 4 is a good number. I have a little bit of color variety and variations between those. And I think if I only work on 4 blushes, that will allow me some extra space to get more progress on the ones that I really want to pan. And like the number 1 priority at the moment is getting the Hourglass palette completely finished. And then I think I would ideally really like to see at least a pan on Milani Luminoso before the end of the year. And then then the Tarte palette, I want to use up at least 1 blush. But I think for now, if I just focus on getting the Hourglass palette done, that's at least a big tick goal. Tarte blushes, or the Tarte blush palette, I think it would only be a couple of months usage on this palette, and I could see myself having at least one of these blushes completely finished before the end of the year. So I'm just going to take the pressure off a little bit. I'm just going to give myself permission to only work on just a handful as opposed to an excessive amount. I don't know what I was thinking including so many blushes, but it didn't really dawn on me how many I had included until I actually sat down and had a little think about it. And then I was like, holy shit, that's like 8 blushes at once. That's a lot. I don't know why I did that to myself. Bit silly, but I've come to my senses. So that is my update on my Pan That palette or my Pan Those palettes. Let me know how you are going panning any of your face palettes or any particular face complexion products that you're working on this year. I would love to know down in the comments. If you did enjoy this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe down below if you want to keep up to date on my progress on this project or any of my other project pans. That's it for this video, beautiful. I hope you're having an absolutely fantastic day, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye, beautiful.